Hello and welcome back to Gears and Tech. Today we are reviewing this, which is a 2010 Ford Mustang Convertible. Now, I've wanted a fun convertible for a long time. My search went through a lot of different cars. I really wanted to get a Mercedes, but I couldn't pass up on a deal like this one. I got it super cheap. I paid a little bit of extra money to go and get it wrapped this beautiful blue color, and I am ready to hit the streets and tell you all about this car. Now, right off the bat, you're gonna ask yourself, or you're gonna ask me anyway, Anton, is it a GT? Does it have the 5-liter? No, it doesn't. This has the V6, 4-liter V6, 210 horsepower, which rockets this car from 0 to 60 in like, who cares? It is so slow. It's like 7.5, 8 seconds. I don't know, it's slow. So of course, now you're saying, well, Anton, this is a poser car. Yes, it is, but it is a convertible. The point of this car is to drive slowly. It's to drop the top and let everyone see you in a really cool looking car while you flash off your fancy new wrap. At least that's what I bought it for anyway. And as you can tell from the shades, the t-shirt, the sunglasses, and the flip-flops, it is summer in Canada, and I've been driving this car around for the last little bit, thoroughly enjoying myself. But let me tell you a little bit more about this car. The first thing I'm gonna do is drop this top because, well, that's what I bought it for. Now, the first thing that you're gonna notice is that this roof takes a long time to open. Today's convertibles are a lot faster than this, and this one will only open while the car is in park. If you are not in park, you must stop, put it in park, and then open the roof and close the roof. Obviously, that's a safety feature because they don't want you driving down the highway and have you pick the roof up and have this giant sail. There are other cars that will let you retract or put down the roof when you're going below a certain speed. The BMW that we test drove in San Diego recently was an example of that, and I actually found that quite useful because when we were pulling into a parking lot, I was able to start putting the roof back up while we were finding the parking spot. It probably looked funny to people, but I really don't care because that way when I pulled into the spot, the roof was already up, I could seal the car up and go in with my belongings safely secured inside the car. Let's talk about the interior features of the car. Now, this is a mid-level car, so it doesn't have all the features that a Mustang would have, but it does have most of them. So power windows, auto down and auto up, power locks. The seat is power. It does not have seat memory though. So if you have more than one driver, you're gonna be fighting all the time, trying to get the seat into the right position. If it's just you though, it's not a big deal. You set it how you want it and you leave it like that. There's a full information setup, which is on the dash. You can cycle through your standards like trip odometer, average fuel economy, distance to empty, and that's about it. The steering wheel has all of the features that you would expect from pretty much any car. Your cruise control, obviously, and your stereo control, so you can adjust your volume up and down. You can change your tuning on the station. You can also skip forward and backwards when you're using Bluetooth or the Sync audio system, which brings me to the Sync audio system. It's actually really good. It sounds great. It plays the sound well, like there's a lot of adjustments there. It's got satellite radio, it's got Bluetooth. It will connect through USB as well. However, I don't use that function, I just use the Bluetooth. The gauges are awesome. They are still analog gauges. They look really cool, and this car features what's called the My Color, which allows you to change the color of the gauges at night. So I have them set to purple. That's because it's my wife's favorite color, and I kind of want her to like this car so that she'll let me keep it. This one does have a traction control button, and the nice thing about the traction control on this is you can just push it and it will turn it off. That's especially handy if you come to like a roundabout and you want to have a little bit of fun. You just push it, it turns it off, and you can drift around the roundabout, obviously when it's safe and nobody else is watching. But on some other cars, you have to be in park and you have to hold it for like 30 seconds before it disables it. This one shuts off with a simple push. The seats in this car are typical Mustang seats. They have a lot of bolster here. So if you're bigger than me, you're gonna find your love handles get squished by the bolsters. I just fit, and it does hold me in quite well. It's not the most comfortable seat in the world. In fact, I've never been in a Mustang that has a super comfortable seat. I don't think they're made for long drives. I don't know why, because who doesn't want to go for a top-down cruise in a Mustang? But my back does start to hurt after driving for about an hour or so. Now that could be because I'm just an old man, or it could be because the seat's uncomfortable. I'll let you guys pass your own judgment on that. But of course, I can sit here and ramble about the interior of the car all day. What you want to know is, how does it drive? So let's get the cameras set up, let's go for a drive, and I'll keep telling you about how it drives. So here we go, we are setting off. Top obviously down because it's a beautiful sunny day, and man, I'm sweating. I'm gonna turn the fan up, hopefully you guys don't mind. So the first thing that you're gonna notice is that this car actually drives pretty smooth. The suspension is, I'm gonna say, soft, even though it still is a sports car-ish suspension. This was not made to be a track monster. If you want the track monster, there are other models that are more suitable as a track car. Obviously, a convertible is going to be heavier than the non-convertible just because of the extra reinforcement required to make the car not flex while you're driving with the top down. So I would say that this one was designed more to be comfortable first, kind of sporty, and more fun, which is why it suits what I'm looking for. Now, as I said before, this does not have a very fast 0 to 60 time. It is not built for a fast 0 to 60 time. I think it's around 7.5, maybe even 8 seconds, but it seems to me it's like in the 7.7 range, which is respectable enough that if you didn't let somebody know that you were going to try and race them, you could win a race or two. It is not going to be the drag racing car that you might think you're looking for. But what it makes up for is just a comfortable ride. As we talked about already, the stereo is quite good. It sounds great. Even with the top down, you still get the bass, you still get the punchy feel, you still get good, clear audio. Now I would show you what I'm talking about, except that I can only play like 3 seconds of audio before YouTube will demonetize the video anyway, so it's just not worth it. Take my word for it though, it is nice. The dash it's your typical Mustang dash with the twin brow design. So it kind of goes wide, goes skinny, and then goes wide again. Brakes, actually I'm surprised. Now I don't know if the brakes on this car are broken, but you have to put the brake pedal down a lot further than you would expect for them to engage. It's not a big deal, but going between this and my regular daily driver, which is a truck, the brakes are a lot more touchy on that truck versus in this, where I have to push them down a lot further. Now again, the brake pads on here have tons of life left, so I don't think that it's like this car's broken. This car is actually in really good shape. It has 224,000 kilometers, which I don't know what that is in miles. If I had to guess, I'm gonna say it's about 140,000 miles, which is not a lot, but it is definitely up there as far as miles go. And I know a lot of people start to freak out when you get over 200,000 kilometers. So I imagine in the United States, when you get over 120,000 miles, you probably feel the same way. But surprisingly, now those who know me know that I am not the biggest Ford fan. I've owned Fords. I've actually bashed a Ford. You might have seen my video bashing my Ford Flex. This Mustang is Ford's chance to redeem themselves for me. So far, it's going quite well. I've been driving this car for a few months now, and I'm happy to report that it has required $0 of repairs so far. Contrast that to the Flex that I had, and I had to repair a lot on that car within the first couple months of ownership, and it was a piece of junk. I still stand by that statement. I'm actually really surprised at how well this car has aged. It's still a blast to drive. It's fun to look at. The features that are here, it's got all the standard features that you would hope a car should have. You know, there's other features that newer cars have that this doesn't, you know, lane assist and that sort of thing. But really, this is more of like a driver's car. It's just fun. Now, this is an automatic, which you probably noticed already, but as I get older, for a car that I'm gonna drive a lot, I do prefer an automatic. A manual's fun for a weekend, but it's not fun when you're stuck in rush hour traffic. So I'm okay that it's an automatic. I don't know if you guys are like, holy crap, Anton, you're not a true enthusiast if you don't have a manual, but it seems like nobody else thinks so either, which is why they don't make as many manual cars as they used to, because everyone's just getting older and they all want an automatic car. The transmission in this shifts really smooth, which is nice. It's just a smooth experience. The cruise control works well. Let's go straight. You can see me accelerate here. So there we did a 40 to 80 kilometer an hour acceleration attempt. Like I said, this is kind of the gutless version. It's only 210 horsepower. There's nothing special about what it does. It is definitely not a special car for its performance. And I'll show you that in a minute. Look how fun this is though. The sun's shining, clear blue sky, beautiful day. It's actually 30 degrees Celsius outside, which is a warm day up here in Canada. Normally we're stuck in our igloos trying to just keep warm. So today it melted all the igloos, as you can see, and we've got some green grass due to all the snow melting. I think a friend of mine recently was driving in the car with me. He said he had never been in a convertible before. So I said, well, today's your lucky day, let's go. So we dropped the top, went for a drive, and he compared it in a way that makes a lot of sense for me, and I never really thought of it that way. He said, Anton, it feels like you're driving in a boat, except you're on the roads. And I think that he's right when he says it that way. Now let's do a 0 to 60 run. The speed limit here is 60, so you can just see how fast it goes. Here we go, full throttle. There's a guy stopping in the middle of the road. I don't know what he's doing. He made a wrong turn. So he's messing up my 0 to 60 run. So let's try this again. You can use the timer on YouTube to figure out how fast this actually goes 0 to 60 if you care. But here we go. It does accelerate initially quite excitedly, and we are at 100 right there. So that was 60 miles an hour, 100 kilometers an hour. It's not like horribly slow, but it's not excitedly fast either. If you watched our other video where we do the review on the Mach-E and compare it to this, there's no comparison. This is so much slower than that, but it's fast enough to make it exciting. It's okay. I don't know what else I can tell you guys about this Mustang, except that this one is the facelifted model. 2010 was the first year of the facelift. That's when you get these upgraded dash. It's when you get the upgraded stereo. The steering wheel's nicer. They carried a lot of the features of this car into the next generation of Mustang, so it doesn't feel as dated. If you're looking for a Mustang similar to this, like in this body style, go for the 2010 and up. It just looks a lot better. You get the sequential turning lights. It's got the refined interior. Overall, I mean, can't complain about this car. As much as I want to hate on Ford, this one has redeemed itself as far as Fords go. I'm really enjoying this car. I have not had a bad day in it. Even when it's raining, it's not a bad car. When the top is up, the roof, I mean, it's noisy. What convertible wouldn't be noisy when you got a cloth roof? The exhaust sounds good. This is all still factory. This has not been tuned in any way. It is all very much original. Great car. I strongly recommend anyone who's been considering getting a Mustang or looking at one, do it. You won't go wrong with that. And you know, coincidentally, I think I'm almost old enough to actually qualify for midlife crisis anyway. It would explain why I even have a sudden desire to even potentially own a Mustang. But those of you who watched my Mach-E review, if it hasn't come out yet, it's coming out soon, I would take this Mustang all day, every day over that brand new Mach-E. It's just that much better. And with that, we'll head back to the studio. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end of this video. We hope you enjoy the content in this video, and we'd love to have you come back. Consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And for those subscribers who are looking for that extra special thing that you can do to support this channel, consider joining our members group. That's where we're building this community, the Gears and Tech community, where we can all enjoy content together. You'll get special perks, which we'd love for you to check out by clicking the link down below. For those of you who are just happy to watch the video, that's okay too. You can check out some of our other content right over here, where we've got some previous videos that have already been uploaded and enjoyed by many of our viewers already. We do hope to see you again. This has been Gears and Tech. Have a great day.